Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I am your host, Trace Girouard, and in today's video, we're going to be getting into 5 bold predictions for the New Orleans Saints 2024 season. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to get some of your hot takes because I put out a post on Twitter yesterday and said, hey, give me a bold prediction for the New Orleans Saints this season, so I'm going to share what some of my followers had to say. But I need your help, Saints fans. Our most liked video this month had 435 likes, so let's absolutely wipe the floor with that video. Let's get to 500 in today's. Just a little bit of backstory. Saints Now, right now, in the Chat Sports Power Rankings, we are dead last in likes for the month of June. So I need your help. Show up, show out. Let's get to 500 likes, and hell, let's go and beat that number 2. Bold prediction number 1. I believe the Saints are not going to have 1, but 2 1,000-yard wide receivers. I believe that Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are due for a big-time season in the 2024 campaign for the New Orleans Saints. Now, Chris Olave, we know what he is. He is a damn good player. He can do it all. He's fast, has excellent route running. He can track down the ball, incredible hands, very nice focus. The player is amazing and worth every single piece of draft capital it took to get him. Now, Rashid Shaheed, I think that this kid is truly something special, and I think he is due for a massive breakout year. And in his first 2 years, we have seen him utilized in a very minute way, and I don't think that he's been utilized enough. But in year 2, we did see him get used as a wide receiver and get some of those deep balls and get some of those big plays. And I think that's why Rashid Shaheed could also be a 1,000-yard receiver this year alongside Chris Olave. Now, with big play Olave, for me, we know he is a 1,000-yard wide receiver. He has proven that. He has proven that he has the skill set to be a wide receiver 1, and now he has the ability to train as the wide receiver 1. This is the first year with the New Orleans Saints where this entire offseason has been focused around him being the center of the receiving and the passing game. So I think that this is going to be really big for number 12. But for number 22, Rashid Shaheed is lightning in a bottle. I mean, I've been saying it since the day that he was signed as an undrafted free agent. I have been so high on this kid. And when you have the offensive mind of Klint Kubiak and you let him scheme up plays specifically for Rashid Shaheed, I mean, I think that this kid could absolutely go crazy. Way better than he did with Pete Carmichael, and way better than a lot of NFL analysts and a lot of people are just not really, giving him the credit for. I think that he's going to be really special, this kid. And just so you guys know, I'm going to be live for every single catch that Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave make this season. So subscribe for free Saints coverage. We're going to be doing watch parties every single Sunday, going live an hour before the game for a little pregame tailgate. And then, of course, we'll do a post-game reaction and all that fun stuff. All live, all for free. And then, of course, on top of that, in between those, we give you daily videos in the off-season, in the regular season. So if this is your first time watching one of our videos, I encourage you to subscribe because I promise you this, you will never regret it. Now, bold prediction number 2. I think that the New Orleans Saints defense is going to be spectacular, and I think that the pass rush will be much more improved. And I think that they're going to finish top 10 in sack production this year. Last year, they were tied for 28th with 34 sacks. Now this year, I think it's going to be a very different story. Now, Carl Granderson, 8.5 sacks last year. I think he's going to be amazing in this season for the New Orleans Saints. He has been showing a lot of growth each and every season, and I think that this year he will really take over. Demario Davis, the fact that a linebacker is top 5 in sack production, pretty cool. I'm not going to knock it at all. I mean, he's a damn good football player, but I would like to see a little bit better production from the defensive line. Now, rookie defensive tackle Brian Brzee absolutely took over in his first year. In the first game, he logged half a sack, and then in the Giants game, he logged 2 sacks in this single game. So, I mean, he had an absolutely outstanding year. Tano Passanio dealing with a little bit of an injury, so we don't know when he's going to be able to return. And Nathan Shepard also 3 sacks in the season last year. But here's the players that I'm calling out. And not necessarily calling out in a bad way, but I'm calling out to see what we can get out of them. Now, Chase Young, if this guy can stay healthy, I truly do believe this down to the depth of my core. He can have double-digit sacks. Cam Jordan, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to get 10 sacks, but to say he can't get 6, I think that that's pretty crazy, and I think that he will be able to do that because he's not going to be the starting defensive end. He's going to be able to take snaps off. He's going to be able to be used in the rotation. And hell, I think he'll be lined up in the middle and on the interior as well. Carl Granderson, we already talked about him. I want to see him absolutely dominate. Brian Brzee in year 2. We know he can rush the passer, and I want to see him do much better at that. But I also want to see him stop the run at a better rate. And Isaiah Foskey, just like Dennis Allen says, I want to see the kid cut it loose, and I want to see what he's capable of because he is a talented football player. And this defensive line is much more athletic. They are much more talented, and they have a lot more depth than they have in recent years. And I'm sorry if this hurts any feelings, and if you disagree with me, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Cam Jordan will not be the starting defensive end. It's going to be Chase Young, Carl Granderson, and I think that that's a good thing for Wham Bam, thank you, Cam. And this is a much better defensive line than we've had in recent years, so I'm excited to see what this team is capable of doing. Now, I got some trivia for you, Saints fans. Who ranks third all-time in sacks for the New Orleans Saints? We got the answer coming up later, so if you need to take a quick second, go ahead, scroll on down, and share your thoughts, get in the comment section, but don't cheat, don't look it up, and don't be lame. And while you're scrolling on down there, it's going to be linked in the comment section description of this video. Got to say thank you so much to Chubby's for sponsoring today's video, and it's summertime, Saints fans, so you know what that means. The skies are out, and the thighs are out too. So crack open a fresh brewski and make any day feel like a Saturday when you use our code CHAT. That's code CHAT to get 20% off when you visit chubbyshorts.com. Chubby's makes clothes that make every moment feel like a vacation. Now, some people like to wear jerseys, they like to wear tuxedo t-shirts, and they like to wear golf polos. But for me, I like to rock Chubby shorts, swimsuits, and shirts by the pool when I'm at the bar, when I'm just kicking it back with the lads. I've been rocking a dad bod since I was in high school, and Chubby shorts have kept me looking fresh and feeling good and feeling extremely confident every step of the way. They have the most comfortable shorts, swimsuits, pants, polos, and even button-down shirts that'll have grandma praising how well you clean up and your girlfriend wanting to get down. It's always the weekend when you're rocking Chubby shorts. And for a limited time, Chubby's is giving our viewers 20% off your order when you use our code CHAT. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com. One more time, code CHAT, chubbyshorts.com. Support our show and tell them we sent you. Don't blend into the crowd. Stand out with Chubby's. All right, bold prediction numero Trace. What's up? I'm also Trace. So number 3, Derek Carr. I think is going to be a top 10 quarterback in terms of passing yards. Now, last year, he was not a top 10 quarterback, but here's where he ranked across the NFL in terms of his production. In completion percent, he was number 5. I mean, it was a really, really good. He's a smart decision maker. There's no doubt about it. In terms of the yards, just under 4,000. It was 13th, so not quite top 10. I think that you can add a handful more, about 200-300 more yards just because of how much better this offensive system is going to be and how much better the talent is. And the touchdowns were top 10. The interceptions, he only had 8. That was really, really good. And the passer rating, he was top 10 there as well with a 97.7. And like I just said, I think Kubiak's system is going to cater to DC4 very specifically because he's going to have multiple reads. There's going to be a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of things that are going to confuse and deter the defense away from what the actual play is going or is running. And on top of that, they're going to be running the ball a lot more and grounding the football. So it's going to take some pressure off of Derek Carr. Hopefully he can take less hits. And also hopefully the offensive line can play a lot better because that, in my opinion, was the biggest issue that Derek Carr dealt with alongside a lot of different things. I mean, he had 3 different shoulder injuries, 2 different concussions. The offensive line last year was atrocious. Pete Carmichael, I mean, if you want to look up the statistics, I encourage you to do it. But trust me on this, he was the worst play caller in the NFL. I've done the research. It was not good. And on top of that, kind of goes back to the play calling, but there was a lot of misuse of weapons, a lot of not scheming up plays specifically for Rashid Shaheed or Chris Olave. And sure, there was some of those plays, but it wasn't happening enough. You weren't getting the ball to Alvin Kamara in open space. You weren't utilizing Jimmy Graham in the red zone. And I think that's why in the red zone completion percentage, you did struggle. You weren't utilizing the weapons that you had available. The true passer rating was really good. The pressured completion percent was really good. The deep ball completion percent was league average, and I think that that could get even better when you scheme up plays for Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave and A.T. Perry to actually do what they are capable of doing and play into their skill set. Now, bold prediction Number 4, I think New Orleans is actually going to go undefeated at home this season. Again, if you guys didn't want hot takes, probably shouldn't have clicked on this video. I told you I was bringing the heat, and we were going to have some fun with this one. So the home opponents that New Orleans will take on in 2024, it's the Panthers, the Eagles, the Bucks, and then that Week 7 matchup against Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, and then the Falcons travel to you in Week 10. And then in Week 11, you have the Browns game. You actually have a bye in Week 12. And then in Week 13, you take on the Rams. Week 15, it's the Commanders. Week 17, it's the Raiders. And there is 9 home games and 8 away games for New Orleans this year. Now, I believe, what I was trying to say, there could be a couple of losses, and it would be naive for me and ridiculous for me to not at least acknowledge that. And so I will say this. I think the Eagles, that could be a talented team, and they could be a good unit, and I like the addition of Saquon Barkley. But I saw a very bad team at the end of last season, so I'm going to kind of roll with maybe it's too early for them to really get things going, and the Saints can get away with a win, especially at the Dome. And then at Week 11, maybe that's a game that Deshaun Watson isn't playing. Maybe you're going against Jameis Winston. Maybe you're going against Tyler Huntley. Who knows? I think that could be a possible loss because that defense is really, really good. But last time you played against Cleveland, you went up there in the blizzard, and you took down Cleveland in Ohio. The Rams, last time you took them on at home, Chris Olave absolutely dusted Jalen Ramsey. I was at that game, and I think that the Saints, every single time they play against the Rams at home, have to kick the shit out of them purely because of the no call. And I put an asterisk next to the Raiders, not because I think that the Raiders will beat the Saints, but if they get to a certain point in the season and the Saints are sitting some of their players, maybe the Raiders sneak away with the win and the Saints lose. And I do believe the New Orleans Saints need to have that dome field advantage. They need to win games, and I think they need to be able to win over the fan base again and have the fan base be loud and proud. Now, the answers to the trivia, it was Wayne Martin. He had 82.5 sacks. Now, the top 5 was Cam Jordan with 117.5, Ricky Jackson with 115, Wayne Martin, he was number 3, Pat Swilling with 76.5, and Will Smith with 67.5. Now, if you got this correct, let me know in the comments and also like the video. And if you want more trivia, hit the thumbs up so we can do some more. Last prediction, number 5. The New Orleans Saints will win the NFC South. And they will also win a playoff game. I believe that they have the roster to do such a thing. And I'm going to be honest, this isn't a knock on, it's not really a knock. This is a knock to every single NFC South team. This is also praising every single NFC South team. This is just as neutral as it gets. Not any team in the NFC South made a move that massively changes things for me. There is not any team that improved the roster so drastically that really separates them from any other team. Sure, Kirk Cousins is a big move. But it's the same thing as when Derek Carr came in. And everyone was like, it doesn't really move the needle. Well, if that's what we're saying about Derek Carr, got to say the same shit about Kirk Cousins. And on top of that, I also think that the Saints, they added Chase Young, sure, but it's not like that's going to go and win them a Super Bowl or anything. Now, here's what I think that the playoffs could end up shaking out to be. I understand if I said in this video the Saints win 9 games at home, then yeah, they'll have 8 games at home. No, 9 games at home, excuse me. Then they'll have a 9-8 record, assuming they probably win a couple of away games. They'll probably be higher up in the rankings. This is just purely, a wild guess. I think the Niners are a damn good team. I think the Eagles will win the NFC East. The Lions will win the NFC North once again, and the Saints will take over the NFC South. And I do believe that the Cowboys, Packers, and Rams will be those 3 wild card teams. So that's just a guess, and here we are sitting at the end of June, just having a little bit of fun in the offseason. Now, it's your turn for me, Saints fans. Drop a bold prediction in the comment section for the New Orleans Saints 2024 season. And we're going to go through some of y'all's here in just 1 second from Twitter, but I want you to take advantage of the opportunity to share your thoughts in the comment section. Now, Dylan Dobson, thank you for responding to my tweet. He gave me a quote tweet, so shout out to you, brother. Carr takes Kubiak's offense and puts himself in the MVP conversation, leads the Saints to a division title and a playoff run. I agree with the playoff run. I agree with the division title. I don't know about the MVP conversation because there's still guys like Patrick Mahomes. There's still players like Joe Burrow. There's still a lot of talented guys, Josh Allen out there. I think that there's a lot of really good players in the National Football League that, to be honest, it would be hard Derek Carr would have to have the best season of his entire career, and I think that would be a big ask for him. But who knows? Maybe that could be the case, and if that is, I would love to be wrong. Saints first, everyone says Carr is going to be a top 10 quarterback next year, and we are going to the playoffs. Hey, that's what I said as well. So Saints first, everyone. I appreciate you for sharing your thoughts. Matthew, he says, we win the division and are the number 2 seed. See us get to, at minimum, the divisional round. That would be pretty cool to see the New Orleans Saints have the number 2 seed in the playoffs. It's been a long time since New Orleans has made the postseason. I would love to see them not just make this postseason, but have a prominent role in it and be a team to be. That would be spectacular in my opinion. So if that happens, Matthew, you and I are going to be celebrating on Bourbon Street. Hopefully you're 21. Phoenix Hoops says the Saints will be top 10 again in rushing attempts, but will improve by 1 whole yard per carry, going from 21 to top 12, possibly even top 10. I think that that's a really good take there, Phoenix Hoops. Klint Kubiak's offense is going to be catered towards Derek Carr, but I also think that with it being grounded and with him emphasizing the rushing attack, it's going to give guys like Alvin Kamara a year 2 with Kendra Miller, year 1 realistically of using Jamal Williams correctly. I mean, hell, I think that the New Orleans Saints offense could be really, really fun this year. So, guys, if you want to get your thoughts on a future show, hit me up on X or Twitter at Trace Girouard 48. Or if you just want to get some updates, get some interactive content, and just some fun Saints coverage on social media, feel free to give me a follow as well. I'll be linked in the comment section and description of this video. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.